Yahweh Shemi Washai Bahashim Akakwadash, double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops, great millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. Shalom and salutations. All the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful of Tabernacle of David. I'm the elder Yahshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily update. Shalom and salutations to you all. More of the same. Gavita TV. This is Larry Johnson speaking to somebody. Old Larry there. And Babylon is now begging for a way out, meaning they're crying. So let's get that. Let's get As Weak as We. Let's get that. Isaiah 14:10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Okay. So right now, Babylon is looking look at this. America is now begging for a way out. That looks weak. That is weak. Okay. Yeah, we're going to find out when this guy speaks tonight. Trump has got some, whatever, State of the Union, something he's supposed to speak on tonight, on the war or whatever. But let's get one more. Let's get Joel 3:10. Joel 3:10. Beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hooks and the spears. Let the weak say, right now, Iran is saying, I'm strong. Okay? We got multiple underground spears, weapons, missiles, swords. Okay? And we can't be stopped right now. The wild boars are they've been waiting for this. All right? They have been waiting. 144. Look at that. 144. Since I missed the other one. Okay? So let's let Larry talk. And Larry's going to say, these guys haven't achieved one objective.
The United States has not achieved any of its military objectives. They thought that we're going to decapitate the regime and cause the regime to collapse. That hasn't happened. They thought that they would cause the Iranian people to rise up to overthrow the Islamic Republic. That hasn't happened. They thought that they had destroyed 90% of the ballistic missile capability of Iran. That hasn't happened. Iran has been raped by the United States and Israel. Iran was negotiating in good faith. Then out of the blue, we attacked it. We killed top echelon of their leadership. And we think then Iran wants to, quote, negotiate with us?
Stop it right there. So the witchcraft didn't work. They went into, what is it? Who did they invade over there? Was that Ecuador? Whoever the fuck they stole the oil from and took their leader. It's on my tongue right now, but I can't think of it. But they did that. That was witchcraft to make everybody believe that they can. You got to be afraid of them, right? Let's stand in. Because it's all enchantment. This is called halal. The numbers mean something on both sides. They have the good, and then they have the other. Right? And this is mercy right here, those four. So anyway, Isaiah 47:12. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy Salakim, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. Let's read it here. Keep on then with your magic spells and with your many sorceries. That's what these scare tactics and these threats, if you will. You got 12 days. We're going to unleash hell. Okay, that's a spell. That's a charm. Okay, keep on then with your magic spells and with your many sorceries, which you have labored at since childhood. Perhaps you will succeed. Perhaps you will cause terror. Maybe they can make someone afraid of you. So they've been trying real hard to scare Iran. Okay, we're gonna show them overwhelming force, and then they'll lay down and they'll give up. Well, that witchcraft, if you will, ain't working no more. All right. Perhaps you may inspire terror. Iran is not afraid. We're waiting for you. We're going to attack you on the ground. We're waiting for you. So it hasn't inspired no terror. Perhaps you may cause trembling, inspire terror, may prevail, frighten some, just maybe, and not in this case, you will frighten somebody. You may cause terror. Perhaps you can frighten your enemies. Babylon hasn't frightened the wild boars. Okay. Maybe you will scare away disaster. Not this time. Disaster's coming no matter what. By the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Prevail, inspire terror. Dost, it may be thou dost terrify. Cause fear. Become stronger. People afraid of you. As if it were able to make you stronger. As if somehow it might benefit you to keep on with your magic and your witchcraft. Strike terror, inspire terror, profit and prevail. Okay, so talk some more there, Larry.
All right, well, everyone, we're very honored to welcome back into the studio for his third appearance. This is Larry Johnson, former CIA analyst. Larry, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, I guess I'm getting to be like crabgrass. You can't get rid of me.
No, the comments from our viewers is always very strong, and obviously, it's very hard to find someone with your level of experience and just intelligence into, security matters and obviously military operations. So, Larry, my first question to you is,
My first question is, why do you always wear a Hawaiian shirt?
Past 1 month, we're entering into the second month of this war, and I would like you to give a report card for
the answer is because he's a boogaloo boy.
United States government and our operations so far. From your viewpoint, how has the first 30 days gone for the U.S.?
Oh, we've wasted $30 billion that we didn't have to waste.
We're losing. We're getting our asses kicked because the Babylonian Egyptian military has become as women.
The cost of this is running a little over $1.2 billion a day. And it's probably higher than that now, because within the first 2 weeks of the war, Iran succeeded in destroying 13 different radar systems. At least, my understanding, at least 2 of those, maybe 3 of those radar systems cost $1.1 billion apiece.
Wow.
3 or 4 of the others cost $500,000 apiece.
And this is going into World War III. See, they're getting worn down. You still got Vladimir and Xi Jinping to deal with, let alone Rocket Man over there in North Korea. So you're struggling, getting your ass kicked by Iran without a nuke. It's not looking good. You got 2 nuclear-powered maniac countries getting their ass kicked by a country that don't have a nuke. You tell me what the hell is going on over here. All right. So those nukes are forthcoming very soon because this devil hates to take that L, which is
so 500 million. Then the others were, in the 100 to 200 million range. So that right there, tremendous loss. And then we saw 2 days ago an E3 AWACS plane was blown up. Well, the reason it's in the region is it does from the air what those ground radar used to do. So it's there to replace what we can't really replace.
Now they're down to one of those radar.
The United States has not achieved any of its military objectives. They thought they were going to decapitate the regime and cause the regime to collapse. That hasn't happened. They thought that they would cause the Iranian people to rise up to overthrow the Islamic Republic.
That witchcraft didn't happen.
That hasn't happened. They thought that they had destroyed 90% of the ballistic missile capability of Iran. That hasn't happened.
And now these lies that you're telling, this deception and this propaganda, that ain't working either.
You know, they start off saying, yeah, we destroyed 90%. Now they're saying, oh, we think we got a third, 33%. They don't know.
33 and a third.
They're just making numbers up. In the meanwhile, the U.S. succeeded
332
in giving Iran the impetus to take control of the world oil supply. Because prior to the start of this war, you could argue that the United States, by virtue of the petrodollar, was in charge of the world oil supply.
Right.
Well, now that Iran has shut down the Strait of Hormuz and it's cut off the flow of 20% of the world's oil supply and 25% of the world's liquid natural gas supply and 35% of the world's fertilizer supply.
Now the weak Iran is saying that they're strong. Say it.
And essential amounts of helium and sulfuric acid.
Let the weak.
All of a sudden, the world economy is grinding to a halt.
And who's taking over?
You know, most people will not fully realize the kind of damage that has already been done to the economy, but it is significant.
Yeah.
The global economy is in recession.
Keep going.
Yeah, normally you don't find out that you've had a recession until economists get together and said, oh, we've had 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth.
But how's Iran faring in this whole debacle?
We are in the midst of a recession. The only outstanding question is whether this will become a full-blown depression, which means
Absolutely.
10% decline in economic activity across the board. I think that's where we're headed. This week is going to be a critical week. It's the 5th week of the war, and the economic impacts from the disruptions that took place in the first 4 weeks, those are now really starting coming into they're blossoming. So we're now going to start seeing tangibly the effects of these upon country after country.
Hyperinflation, no energy, no gas, no food.
You know, and some of these effects we're not going to see for 6 to 8 months. Example, the cutoff of fertilizer is not too apparent, but 6 months from now, when the harvests come in and you find out that the harvest is down because we didn't have enough fertilizer, or the price of fertilizer has gone up so much that the food prices are shooting up. So, like I said, there are lots of secondary and tertiary effects from all of this. And the United States has once again exposed itself as militarily weak.
Stop it right there. Militarily weak. They became as women. The weaker vessel. Babylon's warriors. Who are we talking about? America. America's military have stopped fighting. They remain in their strongholds. Their strength is exhausted. They have become weaklings. They have become like women. Her dwellings are set on fire. The bars of her gates are broken. Yeah, her dwellings are set on fire. Check those bases over there in the Gulf states. Okay. They have become like women. They have become women. They're weak. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. Their might hath failed. What does that mean? They're weak. They have become weak. Their strength has failed. Their courage is gone. They stay in their barracks. Where's weak? Weaklings. They have become weaklings. What did he just say? Say it again, Larry.
As militarily weak. We like to talk about ourselves as being the most powerful military in the world. Yet we failed 8 months ago to open up the Strait of Hormuz, the Red Sea. It has gone up so much that the food prices are shooting up. So, like I said, there are lots of secondary and tertiary effects from all of this. And the United States has once again exposed itself as militarily weak. We like to talk about ourselves as being the most powerful military in the world. Yet we failed 8 months ago to open up the Strait of Hormuz, the Red Sea. The Houthis were shutting that down.
Bab el-Mandeb, that's one strait. And then the Strait of Hormuz. It sounds like Babylon, spiritual Egypt, is in dire straits.
Preventing freedom of navigation. And now, with the Strait of Hormuz closed, the United States keeps making noise. Oh, we're gonna open it up. How are you gonna do that? Oh, we'll land troops on the islands. Yeah, and how does that open up? That doesn't open up the Strait of Hormuz. That just means you got more U.S. troops as targets for Iran to kill.
Mm.
So,
and they will do it. Let the weak. So if Iran is now saying that they're strong, who's weak? Let the weak, that's Iran, right? Let's read this whole thing. This is Joel 3 and 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. In this case, the weak is Iran saying now that they're strong. So if Iran is now strong, who is now weak? Let Larry tell you again. What was it? 5 something?
navigation. And now, with the Strait of Hormuz closed, the United States keeps making noise. Oh, we're gonna open it because we didn't have enough fertilizer, and or the price of fertilizer has gone up so much. They're blossoming. So we're now going to start seeing tangibly the effects of these upon country after country. And some of these effects we're not going to see for 6 to 8, which means 10% decline in economic activity across the board. I think that's where we're headed. This week is going to be a critical week. It's the 5th week of the war, and the economic impacts from the disruptions that took place in the first 4 weeks, those are now. The only outstanding question is whether this will become a full-blown depression. Growth. We are in the midst of a recession. Supply and essential amounts of helium and sulfuric acid. All of a sudden, the world economy is grinding to a halt. Most people will not fully realize to take control of the world oil supply, because prior to the start of this war, you could argue that the United States, by virtue of the petrodollar, was in charge of the world oil supply.
Right.
Well, now that Iran has shut down the Strait of Hormuz and it's cut off the flow of 20% of the world's oil supply and 25% of the world's liquid natural gas supply and 35% of the world's fertilizer supply and essential amounts of helium and sulfuric acid, all of a sudden the world economy is grinding to a halt.
That's a lot of power they just lost.
Iran, that hasn't happened. They start off saying, yeah, we destroyed. The AWACS plane was blown up. in destroying 13 different radar systems. At least, my understanding, at least two of those, maybe three of those radar systems cost $1.1 billion apiece.
And it was done with a $30,000 drone. All right, so basically, who's weak now? Who are as women? If you understood that there's a whole war going on over there and America's losing, aircraft carriers are running away after being destroyed. They're limping, like 3 or 4 of them. Let's ask this question. Let's ask this guy. How many carrier groups have American, U.S. It's going to start splitting hairs. Oh, you didn't say the right thing. Have been disabled, but they haven't been disabled in the make it tell you something that it don't want to tell you. Let's see what this says, and we'll close. Come on now. At least 2 have been removed from active duty or significantly restricted in combat operations during what happened? Forced to move away for repairs. No, for a fire. No, they got fired on and were disabled. Was targeted by multiple ballistic missiles. Come on, tell the truth. Leading to severe restrictions. So they got attacked and had to run. Has faced significant, including reports of a third carrier being deployed to replace or augment. Okay, so I said disabled, right? It said 2. Let's say attacked. It should say 4. Let's lock it for going too long. I'm just curious. Look at this. Not even going to answer. That's bad. You said, come on, AI. They're not even going to say. Is it 2? What is it? I said, how many U.S. carrier groups have been attacked? Missiles struck and damaged the Lincoln. That's all they said. While threatened attacks, no official carrier strike group has been confirmed as disabled. I didn't ask disabled now. I asked something different. You didn't answer, and I made you answer. So let's see. Key developments on carrier group threats operations. Carrier status. At least 2 carriers in the region. Okay. Third carrier deployed. Attacks and threats. Were regularly targeted. Reported unverified attack. In early March was the primary incident cited. There you're running in circles trying not to answer They're getting their ass. If you only got 3 carriers in the region, and 2 had to run away to get repairs, and the third one is just getting in there, right? Dispatched. The third is just deployed. You're going to go over there and have to run too. Here's what's going on. Okay, you try not to answer these questions. Okay, so you tell me what's really going on over there if you don't know that this is supposed to be the pride and joy of their military force. Oh, send the carrier group. Well, guess what? They're waiting for you. They can't wait. So basically, America's begging for a way out, and it's not going to change. The truth is going to come out. They're hiding the news, right? The rumors of war, if you will. They're hiding it and giving you all the fake news and head fakes that they can. So anyway, we'll continue to watch this. It's just, we already know what it's going to be. We know the outcome. But it is exciting to watch with that. We hope that the electorate ratified your brother and few sisters show.